Hey Tracy's Place fam, I hope you all are doing well. I'm starting off the morning by stretching. I love to stretch with. She does a program called Classical Stretch and it's on PBS every weekday morning and it comes on at 7 o'clock in my area. I love to do this and although I have to make myself get up, it is worth it. So when we get older, especially, we get like sheets of fascia and it's almost like glued plaque or something. It makes us stiff. So when we don't move a lot or move enough, our somewhat glued together and you have to move in order to get that unstuck. You have to move and stretch and bend in order to make that, come apart and just feel free in your movement and not ache, your muscles, your joints, tendons, and all that good stuff. Y'all, you've got to move. And I love this lady too, Fabulous 50s. And I kind of exercise with a lot of different people, but these are two that I especially love. Fabulous 50s because that's my age range, and then the classical stretch because I have to move. And a lot of times when we're sitting at our desk during the day and we don't get up enough, y'all, it's good to have a stretching routine. So now that's done, I have to make up my bed. Y'all, that's just part of my morning organization. If my bed ain't made up and I don't straighten up some, I just cannot function. So I go ahead, make my bed up, and I make it up a certain way every day. It makes me feel good, makes me feel organized and tidy, and then I can keep on getting stuff done the rest of the day. I came back over to check and my phone, my camera had cut off. So anyway, this is the end result of me making up the bed. It's all done, straightened up my little corner, got the extra stuff off my nightstand, and it's time to do my devotional. Good morning, guys. It is about 9:45 and I'm running late, running behind in what I'm supposed to be doing this morning. I got up this morning, did my exercises. So the exercises that you just saw me do, they were from another day. I did those exercises, the same exercises this morning though. This morning, I did not think to pick up the camera to film. I was out of it counted this morning, y'all, anyway. I'm doing pretty good in the morning, waking up for the most part. I still have bouts of fatigue and brain fog and stuff like that. I think the long-term, or what you call it, is that long-term COVID thing? I think that's kind of about over, but my menopause symptoms be acting up. Sometimes I can't tell where those ended and the menopause symptoms start. Menopause symptoms is so many, you all, so many. And some of you all might be going through it. Some of you all might be younger and don't know anything about menopause. Before you get older, especially young ladies, look it up so that you will know when these things hit, you'll know what signs to be looking for. Don't be like a lot of us who we heard about it all the time growing up and everything, didn't give a second thought to it. And now going into it, you kind of blindly go into it if you don't know anything about it. Ooh. But yeah, try to find out as much as you can about it. And I'll try to divulge some things going forward too. Someone did ask me about that and I said I was and I hadn't, so I apologize. But it runs havoc on your body, on your mind, on everything. And some women go through it with different symptoms than others do. Some people have a lot of symptoms, which I have had off and on. Sometimes I feel like I'm okay. Sometimes I know it's back to back to back symptoms almost. And it's just like, ugh. But you try, you fight to get through it, fight and get through the day and everything. For the most part, I do okay. But sometimes, oh my goodness. And this morning and the past mornings here lately, I haven't been jumping up. So sometimes your body goes through a time where you just kind of, sometimes you do fine. And that depends on your diet, the way you eat, your exercise, taking supplements even if you need to do that, and just, how you live your life. So a lot of things play a part. So anyway, this morning, I did not jump up. And my husband was like, push me like, babe, get up. You getting up, right? Get up. Because we'll go through a series of times where I cannot just jump right up, and then during the day I'm complaining and all sad and going, I should have got up earlier, because there's so much to get done during the day. And I'm not one, I hate when I cannot get the things done that I need to get done. I'm not one that just be like, oh well, when it get done, when it get done. And I'm just not like that. I have a schedule. I used to be like that kind of a while back when things were beyond my control. A lot of times, sometimes when you have kids, when the kids were smaller, you have to make yourself not be upset about things, because your kids will throw, and not in a bad way, because it is just, basically about them growing up. You're training them, teaching them, loving them, doing all that stuff. But they throw a monkey wrench in your plans, in your schedule. You'll have things scheduled out. Okay, we need to do this at this time. We got to go here and do that, and blah, blah, blah. And they have their own things at whatever age they're in, whether it's a toddler, the adolescent years, preteen, teenage years. Oh my goodness. So you have to be ready and adaptable during all those changes, because all their changes affect you. And at the same time, depending on your age, you going through different things. So it's something. But anyway, my husband was urging me, get on up, babe, get on up. And because he know how I am later on, I'd be like, oh, I didn't get this done, I didn't get that done. So he was like, oh, get on up. So I got up, I did my stretching exercises, did my 10-minute HIIT exercises, and then glute and thigh, or glute and leg, something like that, exercises. So did that and got dressed, and now I already did my scripture reading. Y'all, I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, we have been doing pretty good. A lot of you all have been asking about the empty nesters, just changing, how life is changing for us right now. And it has been different. It has been wonderful, and it has been different at the same time. So what we are finding out in the empty nesting process is there is a time that you have to go through to get used to the new changes, no matter how great the new changes are. And that is not that your children are gone. It's not that. We enjoyed our family and our children while we were raising them, enjoyed everything, although it was sometimes tedious and hard. Sometimes it was hard financially for us, because we chose, for me, to stay home. And although I did have different little businesses and things that I did to make money from home here and there, I've even worked part-time, here and there. But our choice was for me to stay home, because I wanted to be the one that was putting things into our children, raising them and teaching them about the things of the Lord. And, and of course my husband too. He was a big factor in that, teaching them as a father does, biblically and all that. But I was to be home raising them, as far as, getting them to school, teaching them things and stuff like that. And then, of course, when he got home, he spent time with them and teaching them stuff. But, life's. And sometimes you don't do everything you wanted to do with your children, even, because the busyness of life sets in. So it's like, at the end of the day, I just pray, like when it was time for them to go, I just pray, like, Lord, for each one of them, whatever I did not teach them, that this part gets me emotional. So, we raised them well, but my thing is, whatever we did not teach them correctly or to the full extent that you wanted us to, Lord, at this time, they are yours. Please teach them, shape them, mold them, and do what we didn't do or couldn't do at the time. Like I said, we raised them well. We raised them in the church and different things. There's certainly many things probably we did not do correctly, because we were not perfect. We're imperfect people. So there are things we did not do correctly. But my thing is, Lord, now teach them, show them the ways to you that some things that we omitted by accident, that we didn't do or didn't know to do. So, like, basically, forgive us for what we didn't do correctly, but Lord, please instill that in them now through life. And you hate to see your children go through certain things, y'all. You hate to see them. I always start off in one direction, then I go in another, don't I? But you hate to see your children go through things, either things that you've been through or you just know of. And sometimes, your children are doing great and then they go down a path and it's just like, oh, no. You try to reel them back in, like, no. But at a point, don't listen. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it depends on the way you talk to them. I always say I'm a consultant now to my children as they are grown. Isaiah, we're still somewhat raising him, of course, because he's still 18. He's in college, but we're still in the process of still guiding him and stuff, as we do still try to guide the other ones, but they are grown. And I always say I'm their consultant. And you listen and you try to guide as much as you can, knowing that certain things that you tell them, you're trying to make sure that you're saying and doing the right thing without saying the too much or the wrong things where they turn you off. So, yeah. But anyway, going back to what I had started off saying, empty nesting is a process just like anything else. It is a change. It is a big change. It is a wonderful change to some people. I know that some people are going through it singly, as far as, some households are not together with mother and father, and there are single mothers that are empty nesters now. Some people are happy about it and some people are not, because some single mothers have just given their life to their children. And some single women are just excited for them to go so they can, that's another story. But us being married and raising our children, it's an exciting time for us. It's a sad time for us as well. So there's a period that you go through of being sad, because like I said, we enjoyed raising our kids. We did a lot with them, for them. They taught us a lot about ourselves, in raising them. Oh my goodness. But it was a great time for us. We wish that we have had more money financially so we could have done more. I would have loved to have traveled with them more, taken them to more places. We went places, but not enough. For my taste, it wasn't enough. Because we had traveled a lot when we were coming up. My parents were not rich, but traveling was important to them. So we went a lot of places. My husband didn't travel as much coming up. And then with our money situation being the way it was, travel just really wasn't as important to him. Basically just the day-to-day, that's just what we dealt with. So anyway, like I said, it's a change as far as you're sad about that period of your life ending, but you're also excited about that period of your life ending, the hustle and bustle of it. But we are excited to watch them navigate. It's exciting and it's scary too, to watch them navigate life in their early adulthood. But as far as just us here being empty nesters, we are getting through a time of sadness and excitedness at the same time. We have been going out a lot, just enjoying each other. And we've always put a precedence on our relationship. And he always especially wanted the kids to know how much he loved me. And that was very important for him as the children were growing up, to see a loving relationship between a mother and a father, and that their father loved their mother. And so it's also teaching them how they should aspire to treat their wives and for our daughter to see how a man is supposed to treat his wife. Um, we want it to be an example of what things should be like, and not just showing, but in raising them, we were able to talk to them and tell them things. And, of course, they go on their paths. Then sometimes it's just like your parents. Sometimes you incorporate some of what your parents taught you, and some people just go totally the other way. And, but we enjoyed raising them. And so, like I said, now we're just enjoying or reintroducing ourselves even the more to each other, getting to know each other. And like I said, we are changing because we're older. So I'm going through menopause and he's going through, he played sports all his life and stuff. And he's going through aches and pains of different things. He's already had, surgeries, knee surgeries and hip surgery and stuff like that. So we are still enjoying each other, but we are also changing at the same time. In the midst of everything, we are changing. So we have to get reassessed to each other because we're with each other all the time. So, and we love it, but you still gotta, like, even though you may have a great relationship and you have had a good marriage, and no marriage is perfect. Of course, I know people, look at us and see, certain things. But yeah, we're a couple, we're married, we've had ups and downs, trials and different things, raising the kids and finances and, different things. So, we're regular people too. We go through things, daily things, but for the most part, I can say God has blessed us to have a wonderful marriage, wonderful family life with the kids. And it's still work though. It's still work that you have to put in. Things just don't happen by osmosis. Sometimes things don't go super smooth all the time. And you have to assess, those rocky roads, and you have to get back on track and keep on moving. And sometimes people don't do the work. That's the sad thing. Sometimes people don't do the work and don't have I don't know if they don't have the patience or don't have the wherewithal to want to go through the process. I don't know. But you have to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to put the other first. Also, you have to know that in marriage, it's not just about you. And that's at the first part of your marriage while you're learning each other. And that's kind of the hardest part, is when you're in the first part of marriage, because you're coming out of your singleness, melding with another person. They're in your space. And so that's probably one of the hardest, probably like your third year, somewhat of the end of the second year, going through maybe year 7, and then you kind of hit a groove. And it's different for each person. It's different for each person, each couple rather. You hit your grooves and your rough spots at different times, but generally, you go through a rough spot between like your end of your second year through your 7th year, and not that it's bad, but it's just that up and down, just the shaking up of things. You're having children, and there's a number of children. Some people have 1, some people have 2, 3, 4, and each time it's different. It brings about different changes and stuff. So you go through those periods of adjustment. And then sometimes in like your 10th year, you kind of hit a groove, things going okay. And then your children start getting older, and they bring different things into the dynamic of marriage. And, so it's different for every couple. But at each stage, you have to put the work in. And when I say work, it doesn't always have to be arduous or just so tense and everything. But you have to esteem the other one highly and love yourself and your partner, knowing that how you started off, what you intended for it to be, and to know that sometimes your feelings and emotions go up and down, And that's normal. It's normal. It's not always going to be peachy keen all the time. It's not going to always be bad all the time. But you just got to hang in there, and you have to talk and be honest with your partner. And you just have to, and that's what I mean. Doing the work is talking to, the communication is the work. And then knowing what you both expect, what you both desire and want, and then you work to meet those needs in those difficult times of raising the children and, you know, doing this and doing that and going through this, going through that. So yeah, so that's it. Anyway, I hope that answered some of the questions. We are enjoying, oh, I keep hitting this thing. But anyway, we are enjoying each other. We're not as sad anymore because we see we FaceTime with Isaiah a lot. Oh my goodness, and it's just hilarious. I just cannot tell you. But it's a joy. At first, you know, he had his breakaway moments of like, okay, I don't want to talk that much. I don't want to FaceTime that much, because he was kind of setting his own precedence of separating himself somewhat from us. So I was the one that was mostly sad. Like, almost me and this one a lady at our church were talking because her son went away to college too this year. And so we were talking about how sad we were, and we felt like scorned girlfriends, because it's like when your son goes off, it's different than your daughter. It's a different dynamic. So your son goes off, he doesn't want to talk to you as much as like maybe your daughter would want to. He goes off, and a male is asserting himself in his adulthood as a leader of his own self, and then of course hopefully eventually a family later. So he's asserting himself in his separation and stuff like that. So we were like, I'm so sad, because sometimes you call and they don't answer. Sometimes you call, they don't answer right away. Sometimes you call and they're just like on the phone like, what do you want? They don't say that, but it's the facial expression and all that. It's just like, and we were like, we feel like scorned girlfriends. Like, you haven't called me. You didn't answer my call. But yeah, it's different. So now he calls a little bit more, and he welcomes our calls a little bit more now, because I guess he's into his groove, and he's good with it now. But he has asserted his little self, and he was getting used to things, and being his own person and all that stuff. So anyway, but yeah, we're doing good. We're excited. We're enjoying going out, having our date nights, our date days, having free time. He's watching more football now, and loving it. We're getting his room together in the back, and also I'm watching a few more movies and stuff that I was, coming up. Your children are your focus, and for him the same thing. He was coach. We were mom and dad. We were hands on, so we're still hands on with them. We go, we help, we call, we talk, we all that. But yeah, we're enjoying ourselves, and even getting more back into that. Almost like when we first dated. We had always been like that. He's always called me his little girlfriend, and we have had great relationship, and that, all that throughout marriage. But I'm saying now that it's just the two of us, we kind of getting even the more back into that, like, hey there. We going out, and going out to eat, going out to gatherings, going out to visiting, and just together. So we're enjoying that. Anyway, I was reading my not devotional, but during my scripture reading this morning, y'all, I was reading Jeremiah, and don't click off. Don't click off. Don't click off. I don't know who's about to, but don't click off. Don't click off. I was reading Jeremiah. Now, I'm not a preacher, prophet, evangelist, anything like that. I'm a Christian, and so I'm not doing this as a teaching thing, but I am just relaying some things that I have learned. So anyway, I was reading Jeremiah 3 this morning, and it's talking about the ways in which we have somewhat left the Lord in our carnality and are giving ourselves over to the things of the world. So this is speaking back in those times, in biblical times, but it relates to us and especially today. So anyway, I'm gonna try to go through this quick. But anyway, Jeremiah 3. I'm sorry, I read Jeremiah 2 this morning, but I peeked over into Jeremiah 3. Okay. And I then when I peeked over into Jeremiah 3, I said I have to say something. But anyway, Jeremiah 3, and I'll just read a couple verses. They say, if a man divorces his wife and she goes from him and becomes another man's, may he return to her again? Would not that land be greatly polluted? But you have played the harlot with many lovers, yet return to me, says the Lord. So here, if I'm reading correctly, he is talking about the stiff-necked people of Judah. So Jeremiah has been basically, the Lord has ordained him to be prophet to the people of Judah, or land of Judah. And they are a stiff-necked people. And so the Lord is kind of like, as I understand, rebuking them now. And they're in a time of correction, and Jeremiah has been sent to do this. So he's saying, basically gives that example of a man divorcing his wife, and if she goes and she pollutes herself with another man, should he return back to her? He says, but he's saying that to the people of Judah, it looks like the Lord is saying, but you have played the harlot with many lovers, yet return to me, says the Lord. Lift up your eyes to the desolate heights and see. Where have you not lain with men? By the road you have sat for them, like an Arabian in the wilderness, and you have polluted the land with your harlotries and your wickedness. Therefore the showers have been withheld, and there has been no latter rain. You have had a harlot's forehead. You refuse to be ashamed. Will you not from this time cry to me, my Father, you are the God of my youth? Will he remain angry forever? Will he keep it to the end? Behold, you have spoken and done evil things as you are able. Oh, man. And so that got me into a tailspin of our harlotry ways now in this day and time, and of going through Jeremiah 2 that I had read. And basically it's like the Lord, and I'll just skim over this a little bit. It says, I remember you. And he's telling the people, I remember you, the kindness of your youth, the love of your betrothal, when you went after me in the wilderness in a land that was not sown. Israel was holiness to the Lord, the first fruits of his increase. And it just seems like he's kind of saying, like, in that time when they were just really leaning and depending on him, and they needed him, and it was just a type of innocence and love from them towards him, the Father, leaning and depending on him, and, you know, being, I guess, what they were supposed to be, and, you know, all that thing. But then it says, what injustice have your fathers found in me, that they have gone far from me, have followed idols, and have become idolaters? Neither did they say, where is the Lord, who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, who led us through the wilderness, through the land of deserts and pits, through the land of drought and the shadow of death, through a land that no one crossed and where no one dwelt. I brought you into a bountiful country to eat its fruit and its goodness. But when you entered, you defiled my land and made my heritage an abomination. The priests did not say, where is the Lord? And those who handled the law did not know me. The rulers also transgressed against me. The prophets prophesied by Baal and walked after things that do not profit. Therefore, I will yet bring charges against you, says the Lord, and against your children's children. I will bring charges. For pass beyond the coast of Cyprus and see. Send to Kedar and consider diligently, and see if there has been such a thing. Has a nation changed its gods, which are not gods? Wow. Basically, we're chasing after things that are not God. They're not godly. But my people have changed their glory for what does not profit. Be astonished, O heavens, at this. Be horribly afraid. And so it goes on, talks about how all the bad things, I guess, that has gone on. And then it says, have you not brought this on yourself, in that you have forsaken the Lord your God when he led you in the way? And now why take the road to Egypt to drink the waters of Sihor? Or why take the road to Assyria to drink the waters of the river? Your own wickedness will correct you. Your own backslidings will reprove you. Know therefore and see that it is an evil and bitter thing that you have forsaken the Lord your God, and the fear of me is not in you, says the Lord God of hosts. Skipping down a little bit. Why will you plead with me? You all have transgressed against me, says the Lord. In vain I have chastened your children. They received no correction. Your sword has devoured your prophets like a destroying lion. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. And if you can, read it for yourself. Read the whole chapter of Jeremiah 2. Jeremiah 1 goes over how the Lord is telling Jeremiah that he is the one that he has chosen to talk to the stiff-necked people of Judah to try to get them to come back and, to tell them of their wicked ways. Okay, so all of this, what I'm seeing is that, and I'm relating it to today, as far as being carnal Christians especially. In here it says that the Lord has brought them out, brought them to a land of plenty and, of great things and stuff like that, which he has done, for us. But as like now, we don't have good godly leadership. We don't even too much state of being one nation under God anymore and trying to do things the right way. We have this social media issue. We have a music issue. We have the television issue, and we have just ungodly people issues. We are living after the flesh now, and carnal, basically that's what carnal is living after the flesh. And I'll just kind of tell you the definition of carnality, but basically saying that this refers to the flesh as opposed to the spirit, and denotes in an ethical sense mere human nature, the lower side of man, as apart from the divine influence, and therefore estranged from God and prone to sin. So when you are not giving yourself to the word of God, and you're not even trying to get the word in to help change your life, the word is a washing to us, our spirit man and everything. You have to be in the word to wash yourself. We are dirty as human beings, as far as spiritually. We are dirty. And there's so many things that pass through our eye gates and our ear gates, things that we do, sometimes knowingly and unknowingly, sometimes the things that we say that we know is wrong, but we have gotten in such a habit of doing them that we don't even know that it's sin anymore, because this is just part of what we do, unfortunately. But at the same time, you cannot call yourselves, I won't say that. We have a lot of straddling the fence going on now. People who want to claim the Lord God, want to claim to be Christians, want to name the name of the Lord as their God, which really the God is not the God of their lives. And I have to go back to, well, what is, when people say, giving honor to God who's the head of my life, or people will just say, uh, you'll see it on a lot of social media posts and stuff, especially. And then you look at their downline and their posts and stuff, and you like, what? And they claim to be woman of God and all this stuff, but they're into this. They're saying this and that on that. You have to be careful how you represent God. And I have to say, me too, I'm including myself too, because I'm not perfect. I don't always represent the best. I think I do for the most part, but I know there's sometimes when people might be like, so I'm including myself in it as well. We all fall short in certain areas. Some people see us in certain lights in certain areas and arenas, and some people don't. So you are to try to represent Christ at all times and put your best foot forward. Not being that you have to be perfect. Man, you don't have to be perfect, but you should always be seen striving to do the best. And if you fall, be quick to ask forgiveness of the Lord, and put you back in right stand, and keep on going. And we have to give other people grace in it too, sometimes when we see each other fall. But a lot of times people fall and they fall and they fall again, they ask forgiveness, they fall again, they ask again. I've done this too, no, so I'm not discounting myself. But there's a difference also when you are a leader in front of people doing this. There's a difference, because you can sway people if you're in a leadership role. And even being a regular Christian, lay Christian, I think that's what you call it, you can sway people too. We have to not listen to certain things, know that we shouldn't see certain things or whatever. But when you're putting it out there and you name the name of Christ too, you're posting this, posting that, and you're saying this and saying that, but then your lifestyle denotes something different, that's being a carnal Christian. And you got to get back on track. You got to get back on track. We have to get back on track. Living the ways of the world, doing the same thing that the world, that's why we're not supposed to watch everything, hear everything. It says to watch our eye gate, our ear gate, and all that stuff, because where we think it doesn't affect us, it does. It really does. Over a certain amount of time, you know how certain things you do, they become a habit if you do them so often. Things can creep into your psyche, into your mind, and start to set up, and you get used to certain things that you're not supposed to get used to. We watch so many different crazy things on TV, and don't get me wrong, I like to watch things, but I try. I'm not always perfect at it, but I try not to watch any and everything, because when you do that, it helps you to get used to things, and it's just like you don't even bat an eye at some things that are wrong anymore, because you're so used to seeing it, and it gets in you. I know and you don't even think so, but it does. It gets in you, and you become to start thinking like, oh, it's all right, or oh, well, that's just the way of the world, and it doesn't even get any rise out of you anymore, which that should not be. And you should also fight against these things as Christians here in the world. Things would not be the way that they are if Christians are good people, whatever you want to say, spoke up. And it should be the Christians leading. You have to speak up. You got to write emails and send them into the networks. I don't want to see this. If people banded together and did what they were supposed to do, a lot of things would not even be the way they are now. Just imagine, I know some years back, I think it was the Reverend Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. I know they're some funny characters, but anyway, just to some people, they're wonderful in what they do. They fight for certain things. There's some funny characters too, but anyway, Wonderful people in their own right. So don't think I'm saying nothing bad. But they had started speaking out against the music, and some people jumped on, a lot of people did not. A lot of people fought against it. That's just the art of expression, this, that, and the third. No, you see how worse it has gotten even since then? The um, music industry, oh my God, the hip hop, rap, even some of the R&B, oh my goodness, off the chain. It ain't no way we supposed to be listening to that crazy mess. And even furthermore, allowing the kids to. I still, am on Isaiah, like, what you watching? Be careful. And I have, you have to say it a certain way. Be careful what you watching, and because this, then they're like, oh yeah, mom, blah, 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 blah. But you got to say it. You have to put it in their mind that, hey, something's wrong. This ain't right. We can't always be with them at every turn, but when they are younger and in your household, there are certain things you can allow them to do, certain things you should not allow them to do. You start training them and telling them, because as one of my friends say, she tells her kids, there's something in that song that ought to disturb your spirit. And that is the truth. And for grown people sitting up listening to that mess, and like I said, I'm not the most pristine. I have to admit that. I don't like all that the cussing rap and the salacious music and stuff, but there are a few things I'm sure that I listen to, because not listen to right now, but I will still, if I'm at a gathering or something like that, and it'll be songs from back in the day that, Lord have mercy, either I have gotten up and danced on. Most of them I have not, but certain songs I have danced to, and then I sit down and go, oh Lord, I wasn't supposed to do that. Oh Lord, forgive me, blah, blah, blah. But you get caught up. It is easy to get caught up. And I cannot forget, it was around 1997. And I think it was about the year after we got married. And I'm sorry about the time, y'all. So forgive me for going over and over. But it was like 1997. And I got between 93 and 97 on till now, of course. It's always, you're always learning and becoming better in your Christian walk. But I remember especially like 1993, around there, my awakening really started. Still doing things wrong, but my awakening was happening. And I was learning more and interested in the word and the Bible. And like I said, that's why you have to give people grace, because they are learning, and especially in your adulthood, unfortunately, your early adulthood. Oh my goodness, that's really a time and you're straddling the fence sometimes, and you don't want to, but it's happening. You're getting your feet wet in this area and doing this. But anyway, I remember in 97, this year before Jalen was born, I listened to my little R&B stations, and, I listened to my gospel, and, I listened to, so I was listening to my R&B station, and this song that I had just been loving, this new song, y'all. And a lot of you all know that have watched the channel for a long time. I have told y'all about how much I love music, how much I love the bass in the music, and I am a sucker for a beat. Not none of this new stuff though. I can't stand it. But during the times when I was coming up and before, oh my goodness, there was just some good music. And anyway, there was this song called Too Close or Close by Next. And soon as that beat started off, dun, 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 and it's just like, ah, you just want to jump up and dance. And I had loved the song so much, but then some spiritual connection, some spiritual thing dropped, and the song had been out some months, but something dropped in me. And it's funny how the Lord would deal with you at different times or whatever, but it dropped in me. And I listened to the lyrics. Before, I hadn't listened to the lyrics. I was so guilty of that. And even still now, I have to make myself listen to lyrics to make sure that I'm not bopping into the wrong thing. And sometimes it'll still happen. I'll be like, oh, God. But I listened to the lyrics of that song, and I'm like, oh, man. I could not then in good conscience. And then from then on forward, I started listening to more of the lyrics to the songs. Like I said before, it was just a beat for me. And then I had to, as I grew spiritually, I listened to the lyrics, and they were just not, and it wasn't even, you could even say, you could listen to that with your spouse because y'all can do those things. But it was just talking about, grinding and all this stuff, sexual stuff on the dance floor. And it was just not becoming of a Christian. And it just dropped in my spirit, locked in my mind. And I'm like, oh, Lord. Then I had to grapple with, but I love this song, or I love these certain songs with this music, Lord. And believe me, the lyrics to those songs was just child play compared to the music of today. And then I had to deal with, sometimes we have to give up things that we love, that we like. And we come to love worldly things. But that's why I say, sometimes if you put yourself on a diet of not listening to and watching certain things, and you give yourself in your spirit to the Lord in listening to things that are godly and watching things that are godly, are general, even things that are general everyday things. I wouldn't say that you could not, because sometimes you feel certain things in your spirit like, this is questionable, and then, or either this is not, you're not supposed to. Sometimes there's a hazy line, and you like, Lord, I don't know. So a lot of times at that time, you should err into, you're not going to watch it, not going to listen to it. And then sometimes we do go ahead and watch it, and you feel funny, and you're just not sure. So, and there's some things that are okay. They're just talking about, like, certain music, certain songs. There's things that talk about just the general day-to-day life. And there are even songs that talk about relationships that are not bad. They're just talking about the general ups and downs of a relationship or something, or everyday life. And even some things on, I tell you, I just watched, that's one thing I said I was going to do. I was going to start watching more movies. And people have been talking about binge watching shows. I had not binge watched nothing, I don't think. I'm like, when do y'all have time to? I think, like, what are people not doing what they're supposed to do? Because people was always talking about streaming this, or I sat down and I watched the whole season of this, and I'm like, daggone, what y'all do? We did not have the time. Anyway, after Isaiah left, I started watching, what's it called? Queen Charlotte. I think that was what it was called. But the first thing I watched was Bridgerton. And, it's a depiction of things back in the day, and centered around Queen Charlotte and stuff like that. So I don't mind watching some things that are like a, what do you call it, biography or whatever, or something that's true about someone's life. And I know some crazy stuff. They did some crazy stuff all throughout time. But I don't like to always watch a lot of crazy stuff. But some of them are true events. Some things were fabricated just for the viewer's experience, trying to get it more enthralling, and all that stuff. But those was good. And that woman gets on my, Shonda Rhimes, she makes the craziest stuff. And I remember when I stopped watching, oh goodness, what was that medical show she first came out with? I can't even think of it, but y'all know what I'm talking about the medical students, and they was interns or residents and stuff. Grey's Anatomy. I remember when the Lord cut me off from watching that. And it was just like nails on a chalkboard. And it was like, I knew he was like, nah, you ain't supposed to be sitting up watching this mess. Because at first it was about a medical show. And just, the plot was good and all that. But then they always got to mess it up with the sexual stuff and just all that. So then she came out with, I know this is probably not in order, but How to Get Away with Murder. And I don't know if she did the one with the woman that was she was involved with the president. It was a black girl, white president. And she was involved with him. She was the fixer. I can't remember what that was called. I don't know if Shonda Rhimes did that. But then she had Grey's Anatomy, How to Get Away with Murder. Then there was another show. And it was just all, and then you have to throw in other lifestyles. She always did that. And just, I'm like, woman, please. But anyway, she did these two as well. And as soon as I started watching them, and I saw her name pop up as the creator and a writer or whatever, I'm like, oh my goodness. But they were really good, but there was too much stuff put into them doggone shows. Too much. I'm just like, Lord help. But anyway, yeah, I love to watch different things, but I have to be careful with what I watch. I'm not always correct in everything, that I watch. But anyway, just going to say how a lot of times we get caught up in the things of the day. Doing things that other people are doing, watching things that are just because they're available to us and they seem good to our flesh and our eyes and our ears and all that. But we have to be careful. We have to be cautious. I won't even say that, and a lot of that stuff, it doesn't bother me because I'm not going to be doing it, but it still agitates me because from my Christian filter, there are things that are wrong. And some of the, the Christian music is good, a lot of it. And then they have some Christian shows that are starting to be more better. But it's like for a while there, and even somewhat now, it's like some things are just, it's not entertaining. So you really have to search things out to find things that are okay for you to watch and listen to that you still enjoy. So anyway, that's basically all that I have today. And this will probably be almost all of the video because I took up so much time this morning. But I'll try to bring y'all along on some of the rest of my day. And sorry I was rambling, but that's just what came out this morning. But anyway, drop comments down there. Let me know what you thought about some of the stuff I said about the way the world is today. And the Lord is trying to get a message to us. And be careful, y'all. Listen to people when they come to you, the things that you hear that are spiritual. Sometimes he'll send things by way of a coworker, by way of a friend. It could be a message on YouTube or TV. It could be from a father, mother, sibling, whatever. When people come in correction of you, don't take it so personal. Listen because that is wisdom. It is knowledge. Some things that people say, not everything is correct in what they say and how they say it. So take it with a grain of salt. And eat the fish and spit out the bones, meaning take the good that you can take from it, the correction, the wisdom, the whatever, spit out the things that you know is nonsense. Sometimes you don't know what's nonsense and what's not, but spit out the bones, whether it came in a harsh way or, whatever. But be conscious and recognize when you get a message from God. All right. I'll see y'all in the next clip. Okay, y'all. I was talking too long. Y'all should have said, Tracie, you was talking too much. But I'm just now coming down to the kitchen. My husband left the lights on. But I'm just now getting down to the kitchen. It's time for me to get something to eat. It is 11:20. And I'm starving, so I'm gonna look around, see what I can get to eat. I don't want breakfast, so let me see what I'm gonna eat. All right, guys, so I already ate what I was going to eat. I'm sorry I didn't show y'all, but it was so quick. And it was just a little bit, so I didn't even feel right in showing y'all. It was leftovers from Red Robin. I had like less than a half of a burger, bacon burger basically, with fries. So I ate that with the rest of my strawberry lemonade. And then I had one piece of 11 grain bread and that was in the refrigerator. That's why you see it looking all moist on the inside. It's been in the refrigerator. And I toasted that and put peanut butter and jelly on it, and then had some milk. So I had a mixed little meal there, but my belly's satisfied and I'm going on back upstairs. I was so hungry when I came downstairs. I waited too long to eat and I started getting a headache. So that's why I just ate the first thing I saw, basically. So I'm back upstairs from eating my little, I guess you call it brunch lunch. And I am editing a video. I'm trying to get this up tomorrow. So I know I have a little while to go before I cook dinner or warm dinner up. We're having tacos. So I'm going to go ahead and do as much as I can before my husband gets home. Then we're going to eat. And then I know I'll have to come back up and finish the video. So it is 1:31. I've been looking up some stuff on YouTube, how to do an affiliate program that I'm interested in. So I got so sleepy, I just laid my head. I don't think I've ever done that since I've been in my office at home. Just laid my head down over on the desk and so sleepy. So anyway, I had gotten this Twinings tea. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Twinings of London. But they have a good tea, and you can get this at Kroger's or mostly anywhere, I believe. And this is Energy Plus, citrus and apple flavored green tea with B6 vitamin. So I gave it to my husband the other day, and because sometimes he has bouts of sleepiness, and a lot of people do at work, and he said it worked. He said it worked well for him. So, and that's what I had mainly gotten it for him and me sometimes, because I have brain fog or fatigue and stuff like that here lately, here and there. So I got it for, I guess, both of us, and it works. And I tried it also, and I think it was last week, and it did pretty well. So I said I'll try it again today, because I'm really, really sleepy today, and see, hopefully it has the same results. So, and what I do is I just put honey in it, and that's it. And I just put the honey in, and let's see if it's too hot. Need a little more honey. So we are having tacos today. It's Tuesday. So got them all fixed up. Mister is on his second little burrito taco type of thing. He almost done. So this has a little bit of kick to it, but it's not bad at all. You know, we don't like heat. We don't like heat over here, but it's not bad at all. It has a nice flavor too. So it's not even enough to go whoo, 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 but it has just a little kick, but it's good. So I am back upstairs now from dinner, and I am working on the last part of the video. I'll work on it a few more minutes. Then I'm going to take my shower. I'm going to take my shower, and then I'm going to come back and work on it in the bed. I'm going to get in the bed, and I'm going to work on it while I watch something on TV. Hopefully I can get it done within an hour and a half, so we'll see.